Hey everybody, this is Coach Dave at the Turn Academy at Paradise Golf Course in Southwest Florida, partway between Arcadia, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte. This is for the week ending Daylight Savings Time. You all have a good week. Enjoy the videos. This is Robin, one of our great staff members here at Paradise Golf. She's a good golfer, obviously a good athlete. She has one little flaw in her swing. Well, it's got more than one, but she's got one little flaw in her swing that seems to be making the biggest difference in terms of getting the ball on the line she wants to start on. She has a tendency to go a little to the right, and by looking at her swing, it looks to me like she's coming in with impact with the trail hand a little bit under the club shaft rather than behind or above the club shaft. So I've linked these together. We're going to play it in slow motion. That was slow motion. We'll start it again. Let's go ahead and hit slow motion and stride again. Let's watch what happens. They're linked together. Great width on the back. Now the one on the right is a training club. It's going to first force her to rotate her clubs over. Feel the lag she's generating on the training club and the extension through the line. I'm going to back it up just a little bit to about right here where they're pretty synced up. You can see the width she's got and then the amount of rotation. See how much in one frame, how far the right hand rotates over the top? Where if we go to the other one, it doesn't quite match that. See, it stays under the club. See how it's under, under, under? She wanted to stay under, but you can see on the face of the club here on the right that it is rotating up. We've got to get her to aggressively relax, which is kind of odd. You don't think of being aggressively relaxed as things that are used together. But if you watch any good athlete when they relax, they do it aggressively. They don't just slump into an easy chair and chill out. They shake, they move their arms around, they shake their hands. They do whatever it takes to get into a relaxed state of mind with the body and the mind so they can let the club work. She had no choice but to let this club work. It's very heavy, very weighted. You can see the bends in the shaft that are creating that. That's allowing her to get this great extension. Look at that, look at the extension there, right on through to a great finish. Now, the next thing we're going to have her work on, of course, is the legs. We want the legs to be moving that way a little bit more. But I think if she just hits it down the middle, she's going to be happy. She's got plenty of power, plenty of speed, plenty of hand-eye coordination. She just has a, what I would call an intermediate technology problem or technique problem, I guess is the right word for it. She's not using the right technique, and it's only an intermediate problem. It's not a huge life-threatening problem in terms of the golf pro or the golfer at all. She just got to learn how to let her hands work with the design of the golf club. Looking at this setup, we see something that a lot of amateurs do, and that is they get their shoulders at a nice tilt like that. See that? But then his spine is straight up and down. So he's a little twisted. What we'd like to have our golfers do is set up the spine tilt perpendicular to the shoulder line. So it'd be more along that line right there. So let me clear this out of the way. And we'll draw in the shoulder line again. And then we'll just go up and draw up the shaft where the head should be. It should be behind the ball. That would put his lead shoulder and lead knee in a line instead of at a curve like it is now. Now, using this setup, let's watch the takeaway now in slow motion. He's going to sway. Almost gets to that white line, doesn't he? Now, if he'd have started there, we'd see that his shoulder and lead leg would be on that lead side line. Then he slides forward because he's going back where he started. He needs to start there and stay there. So he slides forward, coming in a pretty good position there. I'd like to see a little more lag at this point right here. Then he's going to move into the shot. Not too bad. There's where the elbow's coming apart. Notice there's no lower body movement at all here. Then he turns late and up onto the finish. So we know he has the physical ability. The blue line and the two blue lines are spine angle, which is obvious which one that is, and the club shaft angle, which is the swing plane. The red line is a line parallel to the bottom blue line, which is also part of the swing plane. That's the plane your shoulders are going to rotate on. The shoulders need to rotate on the same parallel line as the club moves. So let's watch this takeaway now. you're going to see the club goes back maybe a little under, but the hands are right on the swing plane. But see his shoulders. His right shoulder hasn't gone up at all. It stayed pretty much at the level it is. It's just going back. That's why the club is so far under the line here. We need to turn the shoulders up and away from the golf ball. The right shoulder's got to go up and away from the golf ball. He's doing a nice job of keeping his head still. We're going to move up. Now, if his shoulder, imagine now his shoulder's on the red line, you'd see his hands up on the red line, and the club would be parallel then to the swing plane. Then as he drops back down, like he's in there, he's in a pretty good spot. But you can see he's pulling away a little bit, clearing out his head, but the hips aren't working yet. Now he's got a little hip rotation there. Look at the club impact. He's dead square on the ball, very nice. Hits the ground a little early and doesn't rotate the club. Right here you can see the club's not rotating. Look at the face of the club right about, well, here. Face of the club is on a, let's do it in another color. We'll do it in a yellow line. Face of the club is that way. As he gets over here, the face of the club has got to be rotated so it's back to parallel to that. And you can see he didn't quite get it rotated. As he comes through, the club's that way. It needs to be the same. Everything needs to be symmetrical and feel natural. So he's fighting that a little bit, but he's getting much better. His setup was really nice. Getting a little better weight transfer. He's finishing more on his lead side than ever before. He's got a little ways to go, but he's come a long ways. I'm very proud of him. One of the things that's the most difficult for the amateur golfer to do is to create a window with the lead arm and the trail arm that I can see through looking out to the golf course from here. So I'm going to draw where that window should appear. When he swings, the right arm needs to come under the left arm through this impact zone. So what you'll see here is that clearly the left arm is is under the right arm, sorry. And we need to reverse that position on the way through. That's what's called dropping the club into the slot. And you'll see that never happens. Never gets under. I don't see any window. Do you see a window? Maybe a little peek of one. None there. And he hasn't got the impact yet. At impact, we need to see a little triangle so that the right shoulder is down much further than the left shoulder. And you can see between the arms. That keeps the club, when you do that, that means the club head would be back over here somewhere instead of where it is now. It's on the wrong side of the circle. So just picture dropping your shoulder down, getting your right elbow down in front of your hip instead of up way above your hip. If you look closely, you can see that the shoulder should be, the elbow should be down here. Picture that. You're dropping that shoulder back down to where it was at setup. Not elbow, I'm sorry. Elbow. So you come up, drop the elbow down. Oh, didn't go down at all, did it? Club never got parallel to the trail arm. And then up he pops. Not a bad swing, and you can get by with that a little bit, but you're going to use a lot of hand-eye coordination, a lot of muscle, and not hit the ball very far. I can't think of another sport that asks its players to roll their ankles. I know tennis players certainly want to do it. I played baseball a lot of times. I bowled. I didn't want to roll my ankles. Heck no. But we want to roll, especially that ankle right there. When we get to the top of the backswing, right there, the lead knee needs to move out towards the toe. So it needs to move that direction. The trail leg needs to roll to the inside of the trail foot and have the right knee move to the left knee. That creates a hip shift that way, which then allows us to drop the club in the slot, which is that way, and we're able to generate power and keep the club on plane and the face on the line we want to hit the ball. So let's watch what she does. She's going to not drop down as much as she could. See, that's coming out. There's no movement at all in the left knee to the right knee, is there? And that's what's to start the downswing is the left knee moving to the right knee, or trail knee to the lead knee. So she gets stuck. Great impact. Good job. Great hand-eye coordination. The problem is when we strictly rely on hand-eye coordination and not on the combination of good coordination and good technique, we limit our ability to get better. And for people that are here at my clinic, they're not here because they want to shoot the same round yesterday and today. They want to get better every day in every way. So part of what she's going to work on is getting that leg moving. We have some drills for that. We'll work on that. And it's really easy to do once you figure out how it's done. It's kind of like playing chopstick. If you've never seen a piano before, chopsticks, which is pretty easy to play, is still not easy to play. You've got to learn to use the tool, and you got to learn to move your body so the tool can do its work. This golfer's made enormous progress over the last 2 years, and now we're at the point where we're going to try to get him to engage his lower body and throw the belt buckle to the target line, and even have the belt buckle at the target line when he strikes the ball. So what you're going to see here, if I play this in slow motion, you're going to see that the belt line is very, very late. Good takeaway, good coil, good load into the ground, and then he stops right there. Now let's back it up a little bit to the impact position. Here's where I'd like to see his hips at impact. If we back up, you can see they're nowhere near that. They don't move until the weight or the momentum of the club pulls him around. We need to swing first from the feet, second from the knees, third from the hips, lastly, the shoulders. So we're going to work on getting him more active with the lower body. The swing, back swing is from the top down. The forward swing is the bottom up. And you can see that's all upper body he's doing now. He's very strong, very powerful, gets good shots, very happy with it. But again, he's not at the clinic to stay status quo. He's at the clinic to get better, and he's going to. Every once in a while, I have the pleasure of telling a golfer that I can't help you fix that. And the reason I say that is because they pulled off a swing that is their swing. It's unique to them, but they did it very, very well. We're going to show this in slow motion, and I want you to see the relaxed, smooth, no jerking, beautiful rotation. Look at that ball flight. Look at the finish. It's all being slow, deliberate, methodical, not mechanical. You don't think about what you're doing, you just do it. That's beautiful. Look at the impact position. I'll back it up here to the impact position here. The right knee's moving. Look at the impact position. Arms are fully extended right there. Fully extended. The club shaft is straight down the power line. Most people think the club still needs to be bent at that point. It really doesn't. That's beautiful. Let's go a little bit further. Look how fast he's rotated the toe of the club over. Let's see if I can blow that up so you can see that really closely. Look at that club face. That's what it needs to do. If I back it up just a touch, that's where it is back here. No reason why we can't get there on the follow-through. Now, this is a very active move on his part, but he's not doing it intentionally. What I just moved through in 2 frames was about maybe a hundredth of a second, maybe less. It's pretty amazing to watch. Look at the rotation there on the club. And notice the club is still going down the target line. It hasn't moved way to the inside. Just a wonderful swing. I got to walk up to him and give him a good fist bump and say, I can't fix that. Or like MC Hammer says, you can't make that happen. Very nice job. Here we have the privilege of having another Paradise Golf staffer here. This is Ed. He spends 2 mornings a week making sure the greens are smooth and well manicured and mowed perfectly. What Ed's been working on is club lag, and that's the angle of the club shaft relative to the left forearm or the lead forearm. So we've got a little device on him called the swing guide, and if you watch as he takes it back, see the yellow thing, that's the swing guide. He's going to set that against his lead forearm. It's getting right there. Then it sets. That's the 90-degree set we're looking for to generate club lag, and the technical term is conservation of angular momentum. You see we've created some really good angles here. We've got the club shaft and the lead forearm at 90 degrees. Our goal now is to maintain that angle as long as we possibly can. There's a point at which centrifugal force is going to make that club head pass our hands. We don't want to add to that centrifugal force by forcing the club head. We want to be adding to that centrifugal force by pulling the club straight down the shaft line. So if you watch here, you'll see as he comes into his shot, see that it's still pretty close to the forearm, and right now it should still be solid on the forearm. Watch it, here we go again. Watch it go down the forearm, one frame at a time. Right on the, see, it's still on the forearm there. Still on it there, so got the 90 degrees. And then right about in here, he starts to lose his angle a little bit. We'd like to see that angle kept until he was at least in mid-thigh on his trail leg. That's what he's working on. The other thing we talked a lot about today is the movement of the knees. Let's just back that up a little bit. Watch the knee movement here. I know this is two things at once here. We're going to see the knee movement, the rolling over of the ankles towards the target line. And then on through, look at the quick rotation of the club. We've talked about that a lot. Boom. Now you've lost lag. You can see that. There's no physical reason why the club shouldn't still be on the angle that he was at before. The only reason it would leave is the right hand is taken over a little sooner than it needs to. The longer we hold that, the later we release the club, the more speed and power we have. Let's move it forward one more frame. Pretty good. I'd like to see the hands at this point right now past the lead thigh. The club is launching the ball a little too high. But now he's getting a great job of rotating the hands. You can see that. And now the swing guide is going to come right back to the same forearm and just sit there. Look at that. That's the release right on through to the finish. Talk about rolling over those lead ankles. Good job. So he's going to be working on that while he's working on all the other things he's working on, which is including getting the hips through a little bit better. Good job, Ed. This is Coach Dave saying goodbye for now. See y'all next week. Have a good clinic and play great. Have fun.